The new Kilohearts Dynamics module is now part of the Slate Digital All Access Pass, and we're going to show you 5 ways you can use this extreme processor to create some amazing sounds in your productions. Really quick, before we get started, take a look at the interface. There are 3 types of dynamic processes we can do here. Regular compression, otherwise known as downward compression, which happens when we pull this ball down. Upward compression, which happens when we pull this ball up. And expansion, which happens when we pull this ball down below the line. And then we have these 2 thresholds, one for setting the threshold of the regular compression, and the other for setting the threshold of the upward compression and expansion. So let's get started. Number 1, brightening up a track in your mix. This is going to create a really exciting high end for any track in your mix. Start with loading multipass, then load the dynamics module in the high frequency band. Start by applying some upward compression, which we know happens when we pull this ball up. This is going to bring out all of those high frequency details and make it really exciting. To keep it smooth, we'll apply a little downward compression as well, and we do that by pulling this ball down. So now we've applied both upward and downward compression to the high frequencies of this synth track. Take a listen before and after. So that's number 1, creating a brighter, much more exciting high end for a track. Number 2, fatten up the lows of your bass. For this trick, we're going to add multipass to our bass track. We're going to load the dynamics module in the low frequency band this time, and we're going to apply just a little bit of upward compression by pulling this ball up until we get a fatter, bigger low end. It's super easy to fatten up your bass track with this trick. Here's before and after. Number 3, create a tighter feel from a drum loop. So this time, we're going to load the dynamics module right onto our drum loop, which in this case is a hi-hat loop. And this loop has some pretty long decaying hi-hats that we want to make tighter. So we're going to use the expander to expand the dynamic range and make these drums sound much tighter. Simply pull this ball down and adjust the threshold until it feels right. And just like that, we were able to transform this big, bulky hi-hat loop into a nice, tight loop that works well in the verse. And we did it using the expander in Kilohearts Dynamics. Number 4, creating a smashed radio effect. Now this time, we're going to build a chain that relies pretty heavily on the dynamics module to create a smashed radio or broken speaker effect. We'll start by using some saturation to give it a bit of crunch. Next, we're going to add the dynamics module to completely smash this sound. And we're going to add both upward and downward compression. You can see we're just completely flattening the dynamics of this track. And last but not least, we're going to add some filters to create that old radio effect. We'll use a low pass filter and a high-pass filter to create the perfect effect. So here is before and after. Number 5, elevate the energy of our entire track. Now, these have all been pretty extreme uses so far, but this last one you can use as extreme or as subtle as you'd like. We're going to elevate the energy of the entire track using the Dynamics module. We're going to start by loading up multipass on our mix bus, and we're going to add 3 Dynamics modules on these 3 multibands. Then we're going to use just a subtle ratio of upward compression and downward compression on each band. Next, we'll adjust the thresholds to make sense for each band so that we're getting just a subtle amount of processing. And now to adjust the overall amount of processing, we'll use a macro to control the mix amount of each of the bands, and then use this macro to control the overall amount of the effect. And just like that, we get a subtle amount of energy added to the entire track. So those are 5 uses for the Kilohearts Dynamics module that you can start using right away. Get creative and have fun with this tool, along with all of the incredible Kilohearts processors now available in the Slate Digital All Access Pass, which includes thousands of dollars worth of award-winning plugins, the industry's most game-changing synth, Ana 2, and masterclass courses from some of the biggest names in the industry, like Just Blaze, Justice League, and Chris Lord Alge, starting at just $9.99 per month.